Does this ever happen to you guys? You and your friends are going on a trip and your friends are thinking about what to do, where to go, where to eat, which hotel to stay at, the car rentals, all this important stuff, while you're here thinking about one thing and one thing only. Which camera should you bring? How's it going, guys? So basically this situation that I just described is happening to me right now as we speak. You see, some of my friends and I are going on a trip soon, and while they're planning the logistics of everything, I'm here on the other end of the spectrum planning my own stuff, which is which camera should I bring? I don't know about you guys, but I honestly feel a bit guilty, but hey, you know what? Can you really blame us? I feel like we're all on the same boat here. We love photography, we love filmmaking, we love cameras, and naturally we just have gas, right? We have a lot of cameras, and when you have to choose between your babies and choose which one you're gonna bring with you, it's actually a hard decision, or is that just me? Anyways, throughout the years, I do have a small collection of cameras that I can choose from, luckily. But looking at my lineup, I do notice that I don't really have that travel camera that I'm really looking for to bring on a trip. At least, ever since COVID, things have changed, and I don't really have that camera that I feel like really suits that purpose. And I was actually debating on buying a new camera. I was looking at a few models, and I was like, you know what? Stop. Dial it back. Calm down, you really don't need a new camera. So I went digging around and basically I just pulled out my old camera, which is this guy right here. This is the G7X Mark III. Actually, it's not that old. This was 2017 when this camera first came out. And honestly, I have a lot of cameras that's older than this. The reason why I say this is old is because I feel like this is a little bit dated nowadays. This camera was near the tail end of that whole 1-inch sensor craze. I know Sony is bringing that back now with the ZV series. You know, after this camera and that period of time between this camera and, the ZVs nowadays, I feel like there's a lot of advancement in cell phone cameras. I mean, there's a lot of computational photography going on there. When you take a photo with your cell phone versus a camera like this, your phone, even though it has a smaller sensor, it has better dynamic range because it basically just does HDR in camera and does it pretty well. It has pretty good noise reduction. And also, of course, they have the bokeh effect, the portrait mode, which is, it's gimmicky. It doesn't always work, but I feel like it's getting better and better. And who knows, nowadays with AI, I feel like you can, make anything look like anything nowadays. You see, this camera came out when cell phones were obviously, not a great option for photography. These cameras with a 1-inch sensor is a lot better, and that is a fact, right? Optically, it is better because of the better lens, because of the better sensor, and I feel like, with people like us who, really love photography, we have to have a real legit camera with us. Not saying that phone cameras aren't legit, but but this is a fantastic camera for travel. It is compact, it is small, it has a 1-inch sensor, which is of course not the APS-C or the full frame that everybody strives for nowadays, but 1-inch sensor is definitely not bad. It has all the manual controls that one would need. It has a little selfie thingy-majiggy. You can take great photos with it. Video on this camera is kind of subpar and mediocre, but it can do its job okay, I guess. Primarily for this trip, I'm just going to be bringing 3 cameras with me. So first off, we have the Canon G7X Mark III, and then we have the DJI Mini 2, the little mini drone, and last but not least, the DJI Osmo Action. This is the Mark I version, not the newer ones, but still a great camera. So the Canon G7X Mark III, unfortunately, because the body of this camera is so small, the batteries are tiny, so you need to bring around like 6 of these batteries with you when you go travel. I think whenever you travel, you should always bring around a drone. If you can get some aerial footage, I think any aerial footage is gonna look good regardless. So if you have a drone, it's small, under the weight limit like this one is, and the area that you're going to allows for flying drones, you should bring a drone. And of course, an action camera is great because you never know what you're gonna be doing there, right? So for in this case, I may go snorkeling, I may go swimming. This is great for that. Something to note as well is that you want your travel setup to be light and nimble, because I don't know about you guys, but for me, I don't really want to carry around a bunch of weight with me all the time. If you carry around full frame cameras, they're heavy, they're bulky. Nowadays with mirrorless, I know they're smaller, but the lenses are big, they're massive, and you have to carry multiple of them, and it weighs you down when you're basically walking around everywhere on a trip. I think one thing that people tend to do before they travel is to get really ambitious, right? They're thinking like, oh, this is gonna be like a one-time experience, a one-time trip, and so I wanna bring the best camera, the best image quality with me, and of course that is great. But then when you realize that once you get there, to have to lug around that weight is going to be really annoying. You have to realize that when you're on a trip, you're most likely traveling with friends and families, and you're most likely following some sort of a schedule, an itinerary. Every time that I go on a trip with my friends, something that I notice is that I'm always the one that spends like a good 5 to 10 minutes in one location, situated there, trying to find the perfect angle, find the perfect shot, while they're in the background, they're like, come on, hurry up, like we've got places to be, we've got places to go, we're on a schedule, chop here, right? So I feel bad, I feel guilty, and I feel like a setup that is nice and small and nimble can allow you to get those shots at least a little bit faster. All in all, something that I've said before in the past, not in a video, but to some of my friends and whatnot, and sometimes when they ask me like, oh, what camera, this and that, I always say like, hey, you know what? The best camera are your eyeballs. And it really is. Your eyeballs are the best cameras that you have. So when possible, just experience the world with your eyeballs, with these guys right here, right? So they just experience it for what it is, instead of being behind a camera all the time, you know, doing this. You know, of course, take your photographs, take your videos, grab your shots, whatever you need to document your time there, but don't make this a priority and just really enjoy the world with your eyes, experience it as it is. And I think that would be the best travel companion. Anyways, that's my thoughts on travel and your travel camera kit. If you guys agree with me, perfect, give me a like. If you guys disagree with me, that's okay as well. Let me know why in the comments below. Anyways, see you guys next time.